Okay, so the first stretch that I'm doing here is shoulder rotation. You're going to see me do this in multiple different variations. And the reason why is on the recording of this day, I was doing a heavy push day, which means I need to make sure for a fact that all my joints, my wrists, everything is able to explode properly and at the same time. One of the biggest benefits that you can get when it comes to stretching like this is that explosive power. A lot of the mistakes that athletes tend to make, especially like if you're a younger or newer athlete, is that you feel like your mind muscle connection is about at the top or about as strong as it can get, and that's simply not true. You'll see me here, I'm balancing the bar between my traps, and I'm kind of leaning to the side, and I'm doing this to get a measurement type of like how my body feels. I need to make sure that when I go and lift this weight off of my body, that my left and right are moving at the same time. I'm contracting and detracting at the same time. These are things that can be These are things that when you are still lifting light, it's not that big of an issue because you don't have to use or engage as many muscles. But when you get to heavier weights, especially with bars that have slack in them, or you are doing multiple movements at a time, you may notice that one of your joints or limbs are lacking behind the other. If this happens, it can lead to injury. It can lead to you simply just not doing the weight. And you might physically be able to do that weight, but because your muscles and joints are not aligned properly, it's going to feel twice as heavy, and you're going to be asking yourself, but I do this every day. Why am I struggling with it now? Oh, it's because I released the grip with my right hand a millisecond before I did with my left hand, meaning that the rest of my body had to compromise for the muscles that I'm not even aware I'm not using anymore. Okay, so this shoulder stretch specifically is a newer one that I've added to my stretching routine on a daily, regardless of what I'm working out. Even on my days off, I still do this one. As you can see, I'm trying to keep one of my legs or knees usually pointed in a direction so that way I can use my spine to kind of measure where my shoulder joint is going to flex at. Especially with my right in particular, I have a bad shoulder disconnection, which is partially why I am showing this course, because I understand what it is like to have an injury and feel like I'm never going to be able to put weight on this again. And a lot of times you will find that the fix to it is simple movements like this. I'm just trying to put a small amount of pressure on the muscles, the small muscles around the joint that a lot of times get abused a lot, especially if you're someone who's working in general labor or very hard jobs. You're lifting a lot, especially if you don't have time to stretch for those jobs. You're going to find that you are, popping your joints a lot. Is almost going to feel like there's air or water in there that's preventing you from moving 100%. A lot of that just comes from years and years of built up stress on the muscle and around the joint, and then you go and stretch again and it hurts and you don't understand why it hurts. So you tell yourself, you're just too old, you're too fat, you're too whatever, or this is just kind of the byproduct of doing what you're doing. That is true. If you are especially not taking care of your body and the output is not matching what you're putting in, yes, you're going to have these issues a lot. Now, I know a lot of the movements that I'll do here, especially on the ground, look a little odd, especially this one here. You'll see me doing a lot of rocking back and forth, left and right, in a lot of my movements, even if it looks like I'm not really doing anything. I'm trying to get a mind-muscle connection feel. That's all I'm trying to do, is really get a feel. Remember, the second you put resistance on those joints, your ability to tweak certain things go away. So it's very important that you do this stretching when you have literally no resistance. Your body is the resistance. Now, regardless of how simple the movement is, it's always good to work balance in any area that you can. And like a broken record, get a feel for what exact muscles it is that you're activating. You'll see that I look into the camera a lot. I'm not trying to stare at you, but even for you in your personal lifts, you'll find that using a camera or a reference point is very beneficial to improving your form, your power, really everything. So if you are not recording or getting some type of idea of what you look like from the third person, it's going to be harder for you to make certain tweaks and adjustments.